Konami really shouldn't have unbanned Circular. Hey guys, Otager back with another video, and today we're going to be talking about Maliss and where it's at and what the build is looking like between now and the release of Alliance Insight, and then after Alliance Insight. Before we do though, I want to remind you all that currently I am doing a giveaway here on the channel that ends on May 1st for a Maliss core. To have a chance at winning the giveaway, it is very simple. You have to be subscribed to the channel, like every video between now and the end of the giveaway, and answer the 3 questions at the end of every video. Also on top of that, it is not required, however, it is greatly appreciated. Consider joining my community Discord and following me over on Twitch. Both links will be in the description below. There is the ability to get extra points that do benefit you for the giveaway in the community Discord, so consider doing that. But also, to further support the channel, next time you go to buy some cardboard over on TCG Player, consider clicking my TCG affiliate link in the description of every video. So for those who are not aware, Maliss just received a small handful of hits, one of which was very significant. We lost Nightmare Griffin, we lost Link Decoder, and then we have Dormouse, Rabbit, and the field spell down to 2. The biggest hit there was Decoder. Decoder hurt a lot. Like, people don't want to give that enough credit. Like, Decoder hurts a lot because it is a extender that was allowing us to chain block the ability to get our field spell, so Ash was like not a concern. But on top of that, Konami also unbanned Circular, the most broken Cybers card to be released in a hot minute, and sure enough, we were looking a way to use it immediately, and we found it. Funny enough, I found this engine before I ended up seeing anything on the internet or like in the Zodiac group chat on Facebook, and I mentioned it to my buddy and he's like, yeah, they're already toying with that. So I was a little behind, but I found it on my own. We're gonna start by looking at the build as of like now, and then we'll look forward for Alliance Insight. I have 2 builds already prepared. This is just for Bestial Maliss. If you want to play a handful of the other builds that are being like thrown around right now, the realistic like best build to play right now before Alliance Insight is probably the Fiendsmith build. However, if you don't want to fork over $75 for every tract, then consider this build. To start, the non-engine is somewhat the same. We are playing 3 Ash Blossom, 3 Impulse, 3 Imperm. We are not playing Fuwalos, but if that's something that you want to do, go for it. And I am playing 2 Nibiru because Nibiru does actually hurt the format a little bit more now. Maliss is easier to hit with Nibiru because they have like the 1 less body from Decoder. Water doesn't have Toad to just instantly not care about Nibiru. There's just Nib hurts a little bit more in the current format, so he feels a little more impactful. You could also just put like Droll and Lockbird in here as well. I am also playing just the Metaltronus because this is Ryzeal player's worst nightmare right now is Metaltronus, but it is also kind of like an extender in the Maliss deck. If they nib you or Bestial you early, you can go like Metaltronus, target their nib or the Bestial, and then summon out something that can come out after it. Having that extra body, and then like if you haven't used a Maliss name yet and you have the field spell in hand, banish from the deck, and there you go. You have a token, a Maliss name, and the body from Metaltronus. You have 3 bodies again. So it is kind of like a pseudo extender. It's not just a breaker in this deck. So I decided to keep it in. The Bestial count is pretty much the same. We are, instead of running 3 Druis Worm, because we have to put it down to 1, we took the 2 Druis Worms out and put in Serenir. He's obviously like the worst one of the Bestial brothers, but he still gets the job done. He's doing what we need him to do, which is banishing a light or dark out of the graveyard to summon himself, which is obviously a Maliss name. As for the Maliss names, ratios are what they are supposed to be. We just have 1 less Dormouse, 1 less Rabbit. Alrighty, sure enough. And then for our Mathmech cards, we are running 1 Circular, 1 Sigma, and 1 Equation. That's all you need to run, because if you open Circular, like you're just set. You are golden. And we'll get into that once we get into the post-Alliance Insight build. As for everything else, we're running the 1 Called By, the 1 Signet Mining. You can run more if you want. Signet Mining is just good because, you know, Maliss doesn't find bodies, but realistically, you're using this to find Circular, Gold Sarcophagus, and then the 1 Talents. As for the extra deck, we are running Detonator for the Metaltronus, Typhon, Abawaku, Axis Kotalker, Dark, Firewall Dragon, Haggard Lizardos, IP Masquerena, Nightmare Cerberus, Lingaribo, then the 3 Maliss names, Little Knight, and then Splash Mage. For cards like to mention, because again, you don't have to go with this build if you don't want to. I'm seeing a lot of people running like the Danger engine now because 3 Tsuchinoko and 3 Jackalope, it doesn't matter if you discard them specifically because you're going to get a body regardless, but if you do summon them, then you draw a card, which is always helpful. and then Nessie, because Nessie can get you one of these two if you discard it. So yeah, like I've been toying around with the danger build. I don't personally like it, but if you want to run it, more power to you. It's fun. I will admit it's fun. It's just not my cup of tea. Droll and Lockbird, the Fiendsmith build, like I said, the Fiendsmith build is probably the better way to go in the current format until Alliance Insight, where the Ad Ignister stuff is very clearly the best version of the deck. Then the Molcherry Fuelos, if you want to run it, go for it. I think Maliss, or at least in this current format, Fuelos is a lot better if you are playing board breakers, drawing into board breakers, whereas like the hand traps, like to be able to benefit off of Fuelos the most in the current format, you essentially have to let your opponent pop off, and if you are ashing them or imperming them along the way as you draw these cards, you are stopping them short from letting you draw what you're looking for, and that never feels great. You can play Lubellion with like Regained. I think this is better if you're playing like Collapse Serpent and Wyverburster, which I don't have on this like side list here, but something to consider, like 2 Wyverburster, 1 Collapse Serpent, and then like Bestial Lubellion with Regained. If you want to play like the D-Link version, so like Striker Dragon and Seals, I have a link in the description below on a older version of the build, and you can just update it with the new ratios and all that. It's a fun build. I would highly recommend giving it a try, but I think Lubellion is like better in that version. And then instead of Cerberus, you can run Nightmare Phoenix just for like having access to back row pop. I run Cerberus just because it's like a Metaltronus target for the Ether Barrel Dragon, but also it's a target for Baguska exactly. So yeah, this is just like the current build. We'll get into a combo in just a minute, but let's go ahead and take a look at the Alliance Insight build. So the Alliance Insight build is like pretty tight in terms of the main deck. Like, I don't think there's much I would change about any of this, depending on how things play out. As for non-engine, we're still pretty much running the same things. Ash Blossom, Impulse, Imperm, Metaltronus. We are actually cutting our Bestial count down a little bit because we will have March Hare going into Alliance Insight, and March Hare is just like an in-engine Bestial, but like it also just has the ability to be like searched, which the Bestials don't technically have a way to be searched if you don't open Magnemite. But the Bestials are still helpful. We are running 2 of backup. You can run 3, but it's very searchable in this deck, so I don't think 3 is like super necessary. We are running still the Circular, the Sigma, the Equation. We are running the Wizard. You only need 1 of this, honestly. We are running 2 Cat, 2 Dormouse, 2 Rabbit. 2 of like all the names minus the March Hare. Like, you could realistically put March Hare to 2 and then Cat to 3. I think March Hare is going to be a lot more valuable, just again being like that Bestial, but also being able to get the other Malice names to your hand from the banished pile is also very helpful. We are still playing the 1 Signet Mining. You can up the count of Signet Mining if you want. It's going to help you find a multitude of cards in this deck. You can either find backup, you can find Circular, you can find Sigma if you wanted to for some reason, or any of the Malice names. Signet, I think, is just really good. The Malice in the Mirror spell, this has multiple utility uses. You can banish it, so that way you can get a Malice name to hand, or you can use it for your end board. It really just depends. Like, if you open the field spell, you have a search target off of Ransom still. Just overall, like, very helpful. For the X deck, we are still running the 1 Detonator for Metaltronus, about a coup, and we'll talk about this in a minute. Axis Code Talker, A Code Talker, Cyber's Wicked. This card's really crazy in this deck. This is how we are finding the backup cards, and also is like what makes Circular 1-card combo for this deck. Firewall Dragon, Haggard Lizardos, IP Masquerena, Nightmare Phoenix, Lingaribo, the Malice names, Little Knight, and Splashblade. It looks somewhat similar with 2 minor differences. For things to like note real quick before we get into like the nitty-gritty of this build, you can run the 1 of Shifter, and in the last build you can also still like run the 1 of Shifter. I just personally chose not to, but with all the Fiendsmith probably still running around because it didn't get hit on the ban list, I could foresee people play just like, if I see it scenario. The Dotscaper, there are people that are still debating running Dotscaper after Alliance Insight. Stop. Just stop. There's no need to, because you have 4 names now. You're probably banishing the March Hare off of Ransom if it comes to needing a name, like the 4th name. Just stop trying to play Dotscaper. We have enough 1-ofs in the deck already. We don't need another one. Hyphen. This is where I wanted to talk about like a Baoku and Phoenix, and honestly even like Haggard. The deck has like 1,000 locks into Cyberse monsters, which makes like the Bestials already like pretty underwhelming, which is why we're running a lower count. But the deck has like 1,000 locks into Cyberse. So realistically, the odds we're ending on like a Baoku or even going into like Haggard or Phoenix is like very low, because if we open Circular, we are locked into Cyberse right out the gate. So realistically, if you wanted to cut like a Baoku or Nightmare Phoenix to throw in like Typhon or Dark, like Dark has its utility in a grind game, honestly, I could support that. And it really just depends. Last two cards of note is like Terraforming. We're down one less field spell, so you could replace it with Terraforming if you want. I think even before the ban list, we were cutting the field spell down to 2 to make room for Malice in the Mirror as a search target for Ransom. So Terraforming might be a bit redundant because we're not trying to find the field spell as often. And then Allure of Darkness, if you want to have like draw power, because this is still at 3. I was actually expecting this to go to like 2 or 1, honestly, with this ban list, but they decided not to, which is fair. So yeah, this is the list. We're gonna go ahead and jump into a couple of combos on like what happens when you open Circular in the old build, like the build for the current format, and then we'll talk about Alliance Insight. All right, so I'm only going to show one combo with the current format, because the current format, like version of the deck, doesn't really change. We're just going to show what happens when you open like Circular plus a name. Now, in Alliance Insight, Circular is like one card combo. It gets you to the Agnister cards, it gets you to the Malice cards, even if you don't open Malice. It just gets you exactly where you need to go, and it's insane. This version of the deck, not quite yet. We're not there yet. So if you see Circular, it's like an extra little bonus on top of everything else. And Circular also helps you play around Nibiru and a bunch of other hand traps just by merely existing. Because if you see Circular, it's going to force interaction if your opponent has it. So for this example, we're going to do Circular plus Dormouse, but it could work very similarly if you just see Circular plus like Rabbit. Works less effective if you see Cat, but overall, it's vaguely the same thing. We are going to start the turn by going to the main phase. We're going to use Circular to send Sigma to the graveyard. I accidentally added it to hand here. And then special the Circular. We are going to use Sigma's effect to special summon himself. Now, it does lock us into Cyberse right out the gate. That doesn't matter as much post Alliance Insight because most of our decks is Cyberse anyways. But here it does vaguely matter because it's like, this is if we don't see like a Bestial right out the gate. But we will summon out the Sigma with its own effect, locking ourselves into Cyberse, and because we summon it, we will use Circular's effect to add Equation. Equation's huge here, because this is how we play around Nibiru a lot better, because Equation will be able to get us, like, that extra body we need to hopefully continue the plays. So if, like, they nib us right after Red Ransom, we can go, like, Equation, summon back Circular, and then if we have another body that hasn't been used to have its banish revive yet, we activate the field spell we hopefully have to banish from the deck or the graveyard and have the 3 bodies, because the token, Malice Name, and Circular continue the combo from there. We are then just going to go ahead and normal summon the Dormouse, Dormouse effect, banish the Rabbit, Rabbit effect to summon itself, and then use its effect on summon to set the TB11 trap. So we have like full gas from here on out. So we're going to just go ahead and link the Sigma, the Circular, and the Dormouse. Sigma gets banished when it leaves the field after using its effect, to then summon out the Red Ransom effect to add the Malice and Underground. Now, because we are locked into Cyberse, we cannot go into Little Knight here, because for some reason Little Knight is not a Cyberse monster. But we have plenty of other options from here, so it's not the end of the world. We're just going to go ahead and activate the TB11, banish the Ransom for cost, summon out a Dormouse, whichever one you want to summon. You have 2 of every copy now, unfortunately, minus the cat. We will activate the Ransom's effect to pay 900 to come back and banish the cat from the deck. We will use Cat's effect to summon itself back by paying 300 life points. And then we will link 3 each of the names to make the White Binder. We will use White Binder's effect on summon to banish the Dormouse and the TB11. Dormouse effect, pay 300 to come back. We have officially used all 3 names plus Ransom. The only one left we haven't used is White Binder, which is perfectly fine. We will then activate Binder effect, set the GWC from the deck, and we will go link 4 using the Binder and the Dormouse to make Firewall Dragon. We're back to Firewall plays. Because we have lost Griffin, we are not like making a Baoku every game, and especially because we're locked into Cyberse right here, we can't even do a Baoku anyways. So it's fine, honestly. We'll go Field spell, banishing the White Binder from the graveyard. White Binder effect, pay 900 to come back and draw a singular card, which can be any card here. It was Nibiru this time, but it can be any card. And then we'll go Firewall, returning 2 monsters from the graveyard to hand. We will return the cat and the Dormouse. We will then link away the Ransom and the Binder to summon out Splash Mage, because we're already locked into Cyber, so might as well take advantage of his extra body. We'll use the Firewall effect, summoning the Chessy Cat from the hand. We will use Chessy Cat effect, banishing the Dormouse from hand to draw 2 extra cards. Splash Mage, target any name in the graveyard that is not a link, and summon out the Dormouse. We will then just activate Mathmech Equation, revive the Circular from the graveyard, and then we will link 2 for IP Masquerena, and then we will link 3 for the Heart's Cryptor. Arguably, probably should have went for Heart's Cryptor first, but it's fine. It's like not the end of the world, because we opened ourselves up to a bigger like Nibiru hit. But like overall, we have 3 cards in hand, which in this instance are hand traps, and then we have GWC, which will get us back into the game if we got nibbed there. But this headboard's kind of crazy. So because we couldn't go into Little Knight during the combo, we still have Little Knight at our disposal on our opponent's turn. So ending on IP is like actually not bad. And because Cryptor is pointing at IP, Cryptor's banish effect cannot be negated. So like even if they imperm it, it can still activate its effect and banish a card and resolve it. So yeah, like this is like a pretty good end board. And on top of that, we have GWC, which is going to revive the White Binder, which will get us all our bodies, which will also be link fodder for the IP Masquerena. Again, all of this seriously relies on actually seeing Circular, which means either you see Circular or you see Signet to get to Circular. And then on top of that, you still need to see like a Maliss name to really do anything with that. Whereas in Post-Alliance Insight, it's a big difference. So let's take a look at that. All right, so the only combo I'm going to show off is if you open Mathmech Circular, and assuming that we have no other Maliss cards in hand, and we have 4 random cards in hand. Later in the combo, you're going to see me add Imperm because I need a discard off backup Add Ignister. We're just going to assume that it was one of the dead cards in my hand. The only live card in my opening hand is Mathmech Circular in this example. Also, there's probably a more refined way to do this combo, you know, going forward, but this is a combo I've only practiced like 5 or 6 times, and overall, it's still like really powerful, but it is susceptible to nib in a couple of spots. But by the time they nib you, you have like the ability to crack back in very specific ways. So we're going to go straight to the main phase, and we're going to summon the Mathmech Circular by sending the Mathmech Sigma. We will activate Sigma's effect to come back, locking us into Cyberse, which is fine. And then we'll activate Circular's effect, adding the equation. We will link 1 away the Sigma for the Lingaribo. The reason we're doing this is because we're about to summon Wicked, and we do need a second Cyberse monster in the graveyard for pulling this off. So we are going to link 2 into the Wicked. We will then activate Mathmech Equation, reviving the Circular in the Wicked zone. And then we will go Wicked effect, banishing the Lingaribo to add the backup Add Ignister. And infinite impermanence for the discard here. We will special summon the backup Add Ignister, using its effect to add the Maliss Dormouse, discarding Imperm. I mentioned this in the last video I did of Post-Alliance Insight, but I'm going to repeat it now. Add Ignister she can just add any Dark Cyberse, and sure enough, all the Maliss names fit that requirement. So it doesn't have to just add Wizard, which just means that Circular on his own can get you to the Maliss combo, which is crazy. We will then normal summon Dormouse. You can activate its effect here, but keep in mind we are like way too deep into Nibiru zone, so if they don't nib you here, you got to take full advantage of that. So we are just going to normal summon and then link away the Dormouse and the Wicked for the Red Ransom. Red Ransom, add the field spell. And then we will just completely combo off from here. We will go Ransom and Circular into Splash Mage. We will use Splash Mage to bring back the Dormouse. Dormouse and Splash Mage into the White Binder. We will then use White Binder's effect to banish the Ransom and the Dormouse. Use both the effects as we haven't used Dormouse's Revive effect yet. We're going to then go Chain 1 Ransom, Chain 2 Dormouse. We're going to summon Dormouse and Ransom for 1,200 life points. And we will, off of the Ransom, be banishing the White Rabbit. We will go White Rabbit effect, pay 300 to come back and special summon itself. We will then use its effect to set GWC. The reason we want to set GWC here is like if they wanted to nib on resolution of all this, then we have the ability to like still set up a board. Granted, we have field spell in hand, so they probably wouldn't nib us here at this point. Honestly, they lost their best opportunity to nib us a little bit ago. which is fine. We will then go White Binder effect to set the TB11, and we will then go Dormouse to banish the cat. We'll go Cat effect, special summon itself by paying 300 life points, and we have a very full board, so it's time to start freeing up some zones. We will go Link for the White Binder and the Dormouse for the Firewall Dragon. It's actually really good to have Firewall in the middle zone here, and I'm going to show why here in a moment. So, like, playing with zones in this combo is, like, a little bit more important than it has been in the past. We'll then go Link 5, the Cat, the Ransom, and the Adagnister for the big boy, the A-Code Talker. Use his effect to revive the Ransom and the Binder in zones that he's pointing to. And we are not ready to use Firewall just yet. We will then go TB11, banish the White Binder to summon out a cat. We will then go White Binder, pay 900 to come back and draw one card. And unfortunately, the draw here was Malice in the Mirror. What we were going to do, which unfortunately this can happen, but at the end of the turn, if we hadn't had used Field Spell the whole time, we were going to go Field Spell, banish Malice in the Mirror, and then make sure we end with March Hare. We're going to have the same result here in a minute anyways, which is fine. But typically we don't want to draw into it. Like in this scenario, we would have wanted to draw in like into hand traps or something along those lines. But drawing into this is fine. Normally when I do draw cards in the like examples here, I treat them as like dead cards. I always say they could be anything, and it's true, it could be anything. But we're gonna play off of this because this actually affects how like the board would end, kind of. So from here, we're going to go Firewall, add back the Chessy Cat and the Dormouse in Graveyard. Then we're going to go Link 3 with the Cat, the Ransom, and the Binder for the Heart's Cryptor, which is also pointing at a Kotaker, which is just crazy. Firewall Dragon, special summon the Chessy Cat effect, banish the Malice in the Mirror to draw two cards. Malice in the Mirror effect to banish the Cat in the Graveyard to be able to add March Hare. So we have March Hare still on our opponent's turn to be able to just make plays, which is this shit's just crazy to me. We're gonna just kind of end it off by Link 2ing the Cat and the White Rabbit for the SP Little Knight, so that way we still have access to I think I just said SP Little Knight, IP Masquerade, so that way we still have access to Little Knight on our opponent's turn. So our opponent has to play through an Omni Negate off of a Code Talker, a non-target banish off of Cryptor, a Little Knight essentially, and then on top of that we can meddle with their graveyard. We have a Bestial in hand, which we'll be able to use on our opponent's turn, so we can meddle with their graveyard even more. And on top of that, we have the ability to just kind of do whatever the fuck we want. We're gonna have access to the trap too with the normal GWC shenanigans or the March Hare shenanigans. So overall, like, this is a very, very powerful end board. I just smacked my mic. Very powerful end board. Again, if people don't like Malice now, they're gonna hate it after the Alliance Insight. And this is just crazy that Circular can get you to all of this. But that really is it for the Malice deck profiles, plural, this time around. I wanted to show off, like, again, where the deck is at currently, because there is about a month before Alliance Insight, and there are, like, some minor events between now and then. So if you're still looking to play Malice in the current format, then that is definitely, like, Circular, Equation, Sigma is, like, the bare minimum for Mathmech cards. I've been hearing some people talk about playing some more Mathmech cards to really, like, combo off the build, but I would prefer just to have the bare minimum. Circular helps the deck out quite a bit, just having, like, those extra bodies at your disposal. And then post-Alliance Insight is just crazy. But let me know what you all think down in the comment section below. Just a quick reminder again that if you are looking to win the Malice Core for the Alliance Insight format coming up, which will end on May 1st, then please make sure you leave a like on this video, stay subscribed to the channel, and answer the following 3 questions. The questions are as followed. Question number 1 is, what is your thoughts on Malice post the ban list and post Alliance Insight? Question number 2 is, what are my opinions on the Danger build for Malice in this little limbo format we have before Alliance Insight? And question number 3 is, before Alliance Insight, is Mathmech Circular a 1-card combo? But with all that, I will see you all in the next video. See ya.